So I'm going to cover what is normally, when we do this in full, about an hour's worth of presentation in 15 minutes. The benefit of that is I'm also going to play like 4 or 5 minutes worth of videos, so you're only going to get me for a comparatively small chunk of time. I'm going to talk, as Tim said, about why brands still matter in an era of AI. And the reason this kind of particularly prompted me to think about kind of whether that was still true was this quote, which came in WPP's This Year, Next Year presentation. Came out a couple of weeks ago. And this is not me being mean about WPP. I have a load of time for WPP. I worked there for about 5 years. I was still there until about 3 months ago. Actually, the interesting thing about this was that this is a question they asked in their research. And they basically said, by 2030, most interactions between brands and consumers will be bot to bot. Now, this is a very kind of AI tech-friendly audience, so rough show of hands, who thinks that is true, that in 4.5 years, the majority of interactions between brands and consumers will be between AI bots? Quick show of hands. Okay, so you lot are right, because not many of you put your hands up. When WPP asked that question, they got 68% of marketers think that this is true. And I'm going to tell you why they are definitely not true via the medium of shopping lists. Shopping lists are absolutely fascinating. And the reason shopping lists are fascinating is not because people put loads of brands on their shopping lists. Actually, the reason that shopping lists are fascinating is that most people don't put brands on the shopping list at all. Mostly, people put kind of generics. So people put things like bread, salad, coffee. The reason that happens is because the very, very close relationship I have, and all of us have, with brands. So I know when I write down bread, what brand of bread I mean. I know when I write down shampoo, what kind of shampoo I mean. Actually, for some things like coffee, this is a really good example, when I write down coffee on a shopping list, I not only know what brand of coffee I'm going to buy, I also know what brand of coffee I might buy, but only if it's on offer, because I don't want to pay full price for it. And I also know what brand of coffee I might buy if they don't have my preferred ones and I need to trade down. So I have this very clear kind of understanding, not only of the brands I'm prepared to buy, but also of the kind of backup brands I might be prepared to buy and the brands I might trade up to. Does that feel familiar to people when they're thinking about their own shopping lists? Good, I'm getting nods, this is very positive. And that's why I think the concept of AI bots replacing all of that nuance is simply unlikely to happen. The other thing that's going on in terms of those kind of brands is I think a lot of us have been stung by replacements when we've been doing online shopping. Replacements are really, really irritating. Having the wrong brand is very, very irritating. I'll tell you why we think that is true in a second. The other thing that's going on here is it's not just me and you guys that think brands are important. Actually, investors think brands are important. This is from the IPA, and they asked investors who are making decisions about where to invest in stocks and shares what they think are the most important things when they are making investment decisions. And more people think that brand is important than think that tech is important. So the idea that in 4.5 years that's all going to decay, I think is unlikely. So what we did is we set out to establish whether today brands are as important or arguably more important than they've been historically. And the way that we did that was we went and we recruited 16 people who just really like brands. They love brands, brands are part of their everyday life. We recruited these people and we spoke to them about the brands that they are really, really fond of. And these are the brands that they talked about in terms of the role that they play in their everyday life. You'll spot a lot of these are FMCGs. That makes a load of sense because I'm touching those brands, I'm using them every single day, so I'm very, very close to those brands. The first thing that we saw when we did this research is that people build very strong emotional connections with their brands, and they do think about them as being their brands. So this research is called Brand to Bland. It's going to play you a couple of clips of how people talk about the brands and how they play a massive role in their lives.
Cornflakes. I really like cornflakes, but I only ever have Kellogg's.
Always the Nescafe brand. I found that's got the best quality. I like it nice and strong.
It's the VO5 one, and I'm quite particular about that, which annoys my fiance a lot. He's bought me other ones, and I'm like, no.
I love Marmite. My husband's not too much of a fan, but it's lovely. I love it on Ribetas.
I wouldn't buy another one. I've decided I'm buying Method products as much as I can that do the jobs I want them to do. All the surface cleaners and the floor cleaners are Method.
I do think, like, I've not found a bronzer that I like as much as that Chanel one.
So you see that people talk about their brands with a huge amount of affection and a lot of kind of emotional connections. That's the first thing we saw. The second thing we saw is that actually in a world of flux, and we're kind of all here today in many ways because the world is changing so fast, in a world of flux, people find brands really reassuring. They kind of anchor me in my world. They give me a sense of reassurance. And we saw that a lot in the discussions that we saw in the research.
Trusted brands impact your life by giving you a sense of security. Like the rest of the world is always changing. You know, we have a new government in, house prices are changing, food prices are changing all the time, but the tastes and the brands you associate with those tastes are like a consistency in your life that I think people like me might rely on. Like they want to feel like something in their life is what they expected it to be.
So we saw first off that people have these big emotional connections with brands, and also they kind of anchor people in their day-to-day world, and they give them a sense of reassurance. So what we did, because we knew that they liked these brands so much, is we took them all away. So we went through all of their brands, and we stripped out those brands, and we gave them different brands, basically to piss off all the people that we've just recruited into this survey. Now, the thing that I will tell you lot that we didn't tell them is that we didn't actually give them different brands. We gave them exactly the same brands, but we just repackaged them. It's a study we've done before we did it about 7 years ago, and we wanted to see whether we'd get the same kind of responses. So, for example, the guy that really likes Nando's, he really likes Nando's. We gave him the same Nando's hot sauce, just in a different bottle. So what we're looking for is, does the brand matter to his experience of the hot sauce? Make sense? Cool. So we took all the brands away, and we saw some really interesting stuff come out of that. First thing, people really rely on brands for meaning in their daily lives.
Method cleaners in the cupboard, lined up, and I thought, oh, can't use you today, but I'll be back with you next week.
With this all-purpose cleaner, I don't know how clean and disinfected the surfaces are going to be.
I can smell the aroma coming off this.
Which isn't as strong as domestos.
You don't think it's as strong?
No.
Okay.
My hair is actually very bushy at the moment, and the powder I've been using, I don't know whether just because I'm very cautious about using a new powder, but it seems a lot bushier in my hair. I actually had a comment in work today that it seemed a bit unkept.
The paste is a little bit, is a bit more, I wouldn't say as thick as the Oral-B one. When I lick the front of the teeth, it doesn't feel so much protection on there.
Walked past the Nando's earlier, and it did make me nostalgic for my classic Nando's sauce that I normally have.
It's not cola. It's cola maybe, but it's not Coca-Cola. It's not the original Coca-Cola.
So what you're seeing, and I think this is absolutely fascinating, is people's lived experience, their actual physical experience of the brand, is overwritten by their brain because they don't think it's the right brand. That's how powerful brands are. If you don't think you need to build your brand, that's the kind of power that a brand can give your business. They can overwrite the actual experience that I'm having. So we saw that people really like having brands in their daily lives. We also saw how much people really, really hate having the wrong brands.
So if this is if it is exactly the same product, I am going to scream because I feel like it is different, and I am missing my Lure pack.
The Coca-Cola I have missed drastically. That's part of my life. I'm looking forward to being reunited with the Coca-Cola for sure.
So very clearly, brands still matter. They are still incredibly important. The idea that in 4.5 years, all of the kind of AI bots, which are incredibly powerful, this is not me saying AI is not good, but the idea that all of those things are going to be eroded in 4.5 years, I just think is a massive overclaim. What we could start doing, though, through this research, we could start codifying why brands are so important, kind of what is going on in the brain that makes brands so powerful. 3 things. First one is they give people a real sense of stability. They give people a real sense of comfort and kind of anchor people in their day. Second thing, they give people a sense of identity. Brands are, in many ways, how I establish my own identity. They kind of play back my own identity into the world. And also people develop really deep personal connections with their brands. Lots of the people that were in the study talked about the fact that the brand they love most is a brand that their parents use. It's kind of come down to them through generations. Brands can be multi-generational. That is also incredibly powerful. Now, obviously, I'm CSO at Thinkbox. By the way, if anyone's taking photos of these slides, just go on the Thinkbox website. They're all there. You can get them. Although it is wonderful to see people taking photos of the slides. It means it's a good slide, basically. So as CSO of Thinkbox, my job is to basically work out how TV can impact those things. So the second thing we wanted to do was, while we've established brands are important, what is it about advertising, and TV advertising particularly, that helps drive those brand feelings? And really the big thing about this is that TV is unique in its ability to build genuine, sticky, powerful, emotional connections with people's brands.
Advertising when I was growing up, it was always the brands that are still around today. The ones that stick in my mind are Flash, Heinz. Flash kills 99.9% of germs.
With Nescafe Gold Blend, it's probably true to say that it's not just the taste that draws me to it. I'm reminded of the adverts years ago because I think it was a product that had a big storyline attached. There was a big love story.
Will Gold Blend be too good for your guests?
Oh, I think they could get used to it.
I do remember the adverts, and I remember them clearly.
Today, a great legacy rests upon your shoulders.
They're Yorkshire actor, Yorkshire tea, and they're proud of their country, proud of their tea. Much like I am, even though I'm not from Yorkshire.
There's some adverts that you see on television without even realising that it's piqued your interest, and then you're out and about in town or even in the supermarket and that same product catches your eye.
The TV advert that comes to mind when I think of Dover is All the Women at the minute. I think it's quite a recent one. It's women of different shapes, sizes, ethnic origin. It makes you feel empowered, I think, and you trust what you're going to use.
Might do online shopping, so I do a mixture of online and in person. The days when it was all in person, that's when I'd go around and see different brands and might try something new. Now, because you've got a mixture of both, well, certainly I use a mixture of both, I'd have less of that opportunity to go around the aisles. So actually, TV advertising is more important to highlight brands that I may not have thought of before.
So what you're seeing is that TV advertising does a huge range of different things. It builds these extraordinary connections. It builds memory connections that people pick up on and retain for years. He's now more famous for being Giles in Buffy than being in the Nescafe ads, right? But people still remember those ads. All of us will remember ads from years and decades ago because TV is so good at building those powerful connections. Now, I started talking about shopping lists and why I think shopping lists explain why AI is not going to erode the power of brands over the coming years. This is what people believe to be the world's first shopping list. It's 3,500 years old. Weirdly, it is, as far as anyone knows, it's in an extinct language, but when it's been translated, weirdly, people think it's for an enormous quantity of furniture, which is a pretty weird thing to put on a shopping list in the first place, and a particularly weird thing to kind of inscribe on a stone tablet. Shopping lists have been around for 3,500 years. We've been writing down the brands we want to buy, the things we want to buy, for 3,500 years. The idea that AI is going to unpick those things in 4.5 years, I just don't buy. So, 3 things to take away today in terms of ways that you might kind of defend brand spend for your brands, for your businesses. First thing, brands build real credibility. People are prepared to pay a lot more for brands that they trust, and TV is really, really good at building credibility and trust. Second thing, not all brands are equal. People will pay a lot more and they'll pay a premium basically for brands that they feel are stronger brands. And third thing, most important thing as far as I'm concerned, is that brand TV directly affects both of those things. If if you invest in TV advertising, your price sensitivity will decrease and you'll be able to charge a higher margin, as well as build those extraordinarily powerful brands. That is me done. I think we probably just about have time for a question or two. Thank you very much.
Great. Elliot, thank you so much. Yeah, we've got time for one really quick question which came in, which is, yeah, I mean, your talk's really been more about the power of brands, right? But you were saying, you know, will AI change things? And the question is, yeah, do you think AI, you know, what about the sustainability aspect of AI? You know, surely that'll put more people off.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, sustainability is a kind of an odd area at the moment. People say they care about sustainability. I mean, there's a brilliant thing, if anyone's, I really like TGI, I don't get out a lot. If you go on TGI and look at the number of people who say, I will carbon offset my flight, it's about 40% of people say they'll do it. The number of people who actually do it is 1%. People say a shitload of things in surveys, a lot of them don't actually happen in the real world. So yes, sustainability, my sense is AI is still going to scale and grow regardless. Bit depressing, but true.
Thank you very much.
No worries.
Elliot Millard, Chief Strategy Officer at Thinkbox, thank you very much. Thank you.